Hello from Florida. It has been a whirlwind of a couple of weeks with Christmas and New Year's coming up, so I have not been filming at all. Unplanned, but haven't picked up a camera once. But I wanted to get on here today and do the 26 books I would like to read in 2026 because I'm very, very excited for reading plans in 2026. There are so many good new releases coming out. I'm in the middle of so many series that I'm excited to finish, and so I figured let's talk about some of the books that I'm planning to read in 2026. Now, these are mostly books that I am either super excited to read in 2026. Well, they're all books that I'm excited to read, but these are mostly books that I am very confident that I'm going to read. I try not to put books on this list that I have any sort of hesitancy towards. Like, these are all ones that I really want to read. Also, hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully there's not too much background noise. I say that as a motorcycle's literally going by. Anyway, I have my list of 26 books here, and I'm gonna try to pop pictures up of each one on the screen because, as we all know by now, I only have my Kindle, and I do actually have one physical copy of one of the books on this list, so I do have that here. But by the way, I got a new Kindle case. So cute. This is the patchwork Kindle case from Morley Co. I don't know if you can see that. I will have to put her handle here. I love her cases. This one also doubles as a stand. And I got the Kindle Colorsoft for Christmas, which I'm really excited about. Beautiful. Hard launch of my new Kindle. I'm obsessed. Anyway, let's get into it. So without further ado, the first book on my list that I want to read in 2026 is Abaddon's Gate by James S.A. Corey. This is book 3 of the Expanse series, which I am in the middle of. I recently read book 2. I think I read that last month / the beginning of December. And this is just a series that has completely taken me by surprise. If you know me, I don't read a ton of sci-fi, but it is a genre that I feel like I am getting way more interested in and find myself excited to read more sci-fi in 26. Abaddon's Gate is book 3. I can't really say much because it is the 3rd in a series, but it's basically I think what a lot of people would call a space opera. And there's just a lot of politics in this series, a lot of traveling between different planets. I'm just really loving the setting of space lately for books and just the discussion of space. So yeah, that is number 1 on my list. I do want to read even more of that series, not just Abaddon's Gate, but that's the next one that I need to read in the series. I also wanted to mention I'm probably not going to go into super depth on all of these books, otherwise we will be here for an eternity. So I'm just going to do a brief synopsis of like the genre and why it's on this list and kind of why I want to read it. But yeah, that's number 1. Book number 2 for 2026 is Silver and Smoke. Now that is by, I might have to utilize Goodreads while I am going through this because I cannot for the life of me remember anything. Silver and Smoke, oh yeah, duh. This is by Helen Schurer, and this is book 3 in the Ashes of Thesmar series, which, if you know, is the kind of, not spin-off series, but like the second series in the Legends of Thesmar world. So the series that starts with Blood and Smoke, read that first, and then Ashes of Thesmar follows a different set of characters. But this is book 3, and I love the characters that this series covers, and so I do really want to continue with this series in 2026. Hence why it's on the list. It's a romantasy series. It's very fast-paced. It's very like guilty pleasure, and I really love the inclusion of alchemy in the Ashes of Thesmar series specifically. So yeah, that's another one that I'm very excited to read. Number 3 on my list is A Dawn of Chaos and Fury by Melissa K. Rorick, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's the last book in the Legacy series. Book 1 is called Reign of Shadows and Endings, and I really enjoy this series. I've given, I want to say like each book like a 4-ish stars or higher, 4.5. Yeah, book 1 I gave 4 stars. Book 2 I gave 4.5 stars. So yeah, I would say this is like a solid 4.5 star series for me. This is more of like a dark-ish urban fantasy, and this follows, I believe her name is Tess. Either way, the female main character has a really good growth arc in this series, so I've really enjoyed following that. There's also kind of like, I don't know if it, I can't remember if it's this one's love triangle or not, but there is another like side character that I'm obsessed with. So again, excited to finish this series off. Dawn of Chaos and Fury though is an absolutely massive book. I saw it in the store the other day. Massive, but I do eventually need to get the physical copy of that one for my collection. 4 on my list, by the way, is Caress. Let me find it. That's on my physical TBR by Marissa Meyer. And this one is more of a YA sci-fi fantasy series, and I really love this one because each book is a fairy tale retelling. There's Red Riding Hood, Cinderella. So Cinder is the first one, and that one is a Cinderella retelling. And I like that they take very big aspects of each retelling and make it a big part of, I love that she makes it a big part of each book as well. So it's very clear that it's a retelling. Hold on. Anyway, I love that she does that, but also makes it very unique. And it's so fast-paced, so fun, so fast-paced. So that is another series that I'm definitely excited to continue in 2026. Hence why it's on this list. And I love the cover of that one. Actually, all the covers for this series are beautiful. This series is called The Lunar Chronicles. Yes. I definitely want to continue that series. So book 5 on my list is Water Moon, which is I want to say it's a cozy fantasy, but it's by Samantha Soto Yambao, and I've heard that this one's just very, very whimsical. It's a little bit, I would say, out of my comfort zone. Like, it's very different from anything that I would usually grab for or buy. The cover got me. I had to have it. So I'm really hoping to read this one in 2026, because one of my goals for 2026 is to kind of branch outside of my comfort genres and try out some new books, because I've noticed lately if I'm reading back to back, you know, fantasy, romance, I just get kind of slumpy with it and everything starts to feel kind of the same, right? So that is the plan, and I think that one will help me with that. The next one on my list is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. I read The Sword of Kaigen last year and absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it, devoured it. I think I gave it 4.5 of like 4.75 stars, very close to 5 stars. Just the themes in that book and her writing were so beautiful. I also love that it's a standalone. You don't find, or like I find that I don't read a lot of fantasy standalones. They're a little bit harder to find, and harder to find like really good ones because you only have so much time to make an impact. Blood Over Brighthaven is a standalone, I want to say, and it's one that I'm very excited to read. I think it's in my want to read list. Yes, here it is. This one, I believe, is fantasy, not romantasy. But yeah, this one I know is about, I think there's like maybe an academy setting, and there's kind of an underdog situation. Oh, here we go. Standalone dark academia brimming with mystery, tragedy, and the damning echoes of the past. This one sounds absolutely amazing. I haven't really delved too deep into the synopsis. I want to go into this one blind. I've heard nothing but good things about this. People saying it's like one of their favorites of the entire year, like 6-star read vibes. So that's why that one's on my 2026 list. That is one I can almost guarantee I will get to in 2026, and probably sooner rather than later. Book 7 on my list is Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I have gotten a head start on. I'm listening to the audiobook with my husband currently, but we've been listening to it slowly, like as we're traveling on car rides, flights, that kind of a thing. And yeah, it's really, really fun so far. Very different from anything I've ever read, being that it's lit RPG. Didn't know that was even a thing. Head start, I have a head start on that one, but that one is basically this guy is thrust into this dungeon that's basically a video game, but in like real life. Like the world kind of ends, there's this company that's taking over, and everything gets kind of sucked into the ground, and he's gotta fight for his life. It's him and his cat Donut, which I love. I love Princess Donut so much. So that one's going well. Book number 8 on my list is The Will of the Many. This is one that I recently added to this list because I have heard nothing but good things about this. I believe it's high fantasy. I've heard it has some pretty in-depth world building, and I definitely want to read more high fantasy this year and not just romantasy. I'm finding that I'm craving that lately. And this one all I know about it is that there's like a social ranking system, and the people at the top of that social system, they get the will, like the life will or something like that, from those below them. And so everybody kind of feeds their will up, and the people at the bottom of the hierarchy don't get anyone else's will, but the people at the top of the hierarchy get everyone's will. I've also heard that it's a bit of like an academic setting, so I am extremely excited for this one. Another one that I feel like so many people say is 5 stars, one of the best reads that they had in 2025, so I'm extremely excited to read this one. Next up on my list is The Ballad of Fallen Dragon. The Ballad of Falling Dragons. Now, this is by Sarah A. Parker. This is the second book after When the Moon Hatched, which I rated 5 stars, I want to say 2024, because this one we've been waiting a while for. This was on my 2025 list, my 25 books in 2025, and obviously I didn't get to it because it didn't get released, so this one is getting bumped onto my 26 list. This one, I'm gonna have to do a reread of When the Moon Hatched because I do not remember everything that happens in books. It's a problem. I'm definitely going to need to reread that one. I just remember really, really loving the writing and having a great time. So yeah, I'm gonna have to reread that in 26 so I can get to The Ballad of Fallen Dragons. Ballad of Falling Dragons. Why can I not say that? Okay, much, much better. Now, what number was I on? The 10th book on my list is And Now Back to You by B.K. Borison. This is the book that comes after First Time Caller. I read First Time Caller in February of this past year and absolutely loved it. I loved like the kind of like, well, I love the cover for one, but the more like vintage vibes of it. I think it's like 90s. Was it 90s? 80s, 90s? I don't know. Those kind of vibes. And I've been really loving that era right now. So yeah, that is one I'm very, very excited for because I devoured First Time Caller. And once again, I love the cover and the color of the cover of this one. So extremely excited to read this. I believe that one comes out in February again. So I'm hoping to get to that one pretty much as soon as it comes out. I would love to get the physical copy. Book 11 on my list is Two Can Play by Allie Hazelwood. I don't really know much about this, but Allie Hazelwood is one of my auto-buy authors. So obviously I'm going to get it and I'm gonna give it a shot. I believe this one is like video games. So instead of STEM, Women in STEM, which is one of like her top things that she writes about, this one's going to be, I think, 2 video game developers, I want to say. So that is very unique to me, so I put it on the list. I'm excited, and that's really all I know about that one. Book number 12 is Throne of Secrets by Carrie Maniscalco, which is book 2 in her, is it like The Princess of Sin? Let me go look. That's also on my physical TBR. I have that in my book box at home. Yeah, The Princess of Sin, number 2. I really, really loved the first one, which followed Prince Envy. It kind of reminded me a lot of Phantasma and Chantra vibes, just with like the trials, the traveling, like, was it the Gates of Hell? I don't know, they had to go underground. It was really, really fun. I loved just the vibes of it, and so I'm excited about Throne of Secrets. I can't remember who this one follows. Is this the one that follows the Prince of Sloth? Because if it is, that's the one I'm like super excited for. That might be the third one that just is coming out though. Oh no, yes, okay, so Throne of Secrets follows the Prince of Gluttony, Prince of Rakes, self-proclaimed rake of rakes, has always lived for indulgence. Delicious food, tantalizing women. Okay, yeah, I'm very excited for this one as well. A dark memory reuniting on a deadly hunt. Okay, yeah, I am very excited for this one. I think I rated the first one like 4.5 stars. So yeah, Throne of Secrets is definitely on my list, and then Throne of Nightmares follows The Prince of Sloth, and I really can't wait for that one. So anyway, that's on my list as well. Book number 13 is Furybound, which is book 2 after Direbound. Furybound by Sable Sorensen is the Wolves of Ruin book number 2. Now the first one, I can't remember like everything that happens. I just know that basically you have to survive this trial to get bonded to a direwolf, and she doesn't want to do this. She's only doing it as a stepping stone to find her sister. Children are going missing. Can't remember why, but they're taking children, and the end of this book was crazy. I remember it being insane. However, because I don't remember like the details, I am thinking I'm definitely going to want to do a reread of Direbound before Furybound comes out. But I remember sitting there at the end of Direbound and just being like, jaw on the floor, like I need book 2 now. So I really can't wait till that one comes out. Really fun romantasy series. Then Number 14 is Fever Dream by Elsie Silver. Again, an auto-by author of mine. I really don't know anything about who this follows. I think this is the first in a new series of hers. So again, just really, really excited to read more Elsie Silver because in my book, she can do no wrong. I have loved every single book that I've read by her for the most part. There's like only a couple outliers for me. So very excited for that. She writes a lot of, you know, cowboy romances, country vibes, small town romances, and she does spice really, really well. So extremely excited for that one. That was a duh for me. Had to put it on the list. So I am pretty sure that one will get read in 2026. Book number 15 I'm really, really excited for, and that is The Exquisite Torment of Loving Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. The cover again is absolutely stunning. This is book 2 of the Dearly Beloved series, and I read the first book this past year and it was a 6-star read for me. One of my absolute favorites of the year. This one is, how do I explain it? It's kind of one of those fantasies that has humor in it, but it was just perfectly like my kind of humor. I loved the two main characters. I loved their banter. I loved their journey. I loved how like grumpy they both kind of were and like they were resisting each other the entire time. Very slow burn. They don't even admit to having feelings for each other really until the very end, and even then it's still like kind of up in the air. Like the way that one ends, again, I was like, I need book 2 immediately. There was just something about this book, the writing, like I said, the banter, the humor, the characters, it was all perfect to me. I was savoring every single word. 6-star book. Cannot wait for this second one to come out. So yeah, that one's like extremely high on my list. That one comes out in July, so I do have quite the wait still for that one. But yeah, I cannot wait. Book 16 that I put on this list is Burn of the Everflame. I read the beginning of this series, which is called Kindred's Curse. The Kindred's Curse saga, I want to say, and I believe this one's the last one in it. I read all of the books that are out this past year and really enjoyed them. I would say this is a high 4-star series for me. Extremely slow burn. Like when I say slow burn, I mean like multiple books slow burn, which can frustrate some people. No, I ate it up. Hopefully I can remember what happened to the last book though before this one comes out, because this one doesn't come out until July. But again, a series that I do want to finish, so I did put it on my 26 and 26 list. Next one is again kind of a new addition to this list. I just put this on here, and that is In the Veins of the Drowning. I don't even know who this one's by. Literally just found out about it pretty much. Okay, In the Veins of the Drowning is by Kaylee Cassidy, and this is either a fantasy or romantasy. And all I know about this one is that it is revolving around sirens. Like the main creatures in this book I believe are sirens, and it just sounds like so good and kind of like dark, and I don't know, it just sounds so good. You have FMC who is in hiding from a cruel kingdom that believes sirens are monstrous. A neighboring king comes to visit. She can no longer hide. Okay, yeah, it sounds really good. It sounds like enemies to lovers but with sirens. Obsessed. Can't wait to read that one. Now, the next one on here, again, I kind of jumped the gun. Some of these I've gotten a head start on, and one of them is City of Gods and Monsters. City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards, which is book 1 in the House of Devil series. This is an urban fantasy that a lot of people say, especially book 1, is very much like Crescent City. Now, I did already read this one, and it did give me Crescent City vibes 100%. But I've heard that after the first book, it kind of strays from that and goes its own way, hence why I wanted to read the series. Book 1, I gave 4 stars. Very, very good, enjoyable time, fast-paced. I love Darian Cassell, the MMC in these books, so I'm very excited to continue the series. So instead of saying City of Gods and Monsters on this list, I'm just going to put the next one in the series on this list. So book 18 on this list is City of Souls and Sinners, officially. I'm excited to continue and see where this series takes us. Book number 19, again, I got a head start. I'm reading right now. I may or may not have it finished before 2026. I don't know if that feels like cheating or not, but it is what it is. I had to start reading this one. It felt right now, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm about halfway through, but yeah, Atmosphere is a fiction, which I don't read a lot of fiction, and I don't have a lot of just like regular fiction on this list. But again, I'm trying to get into different genres and kind of break things up a little bit, especially when I'm feeling slumped out from other genres that I read all the time. Atmosphere is set in the 1980s, and it is about one of the first females going into like NASA's astronaut program, basically, just to simplify it. And Joan, there's a little bit of a romance in the background, and there's like a dual timeline, past and present. And in the present timeline, there's some very stressful things going on, and you go back in time basically to see how we got to this point. And I am just absolutely captured by this book. Like, the writing is incredible, which I knew it would be with Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've loved everything else that I've read by her. So many beautiful quotes about just like life and love and feeling wonder for nature and like just how this world and the universe works, right? So I'm having an absolutely wonderful time. I can foresee this being an easy 5 stars. I've heard nothing but good things about this one. Again, like, I feel like everyone says it was one of their favorite books of the year, so I had to go on this list. I am reading that right now, so stay tuned for that. But the next one on this list is kind of a wild card. I kind of forgot all about it, and it's one that I wouldn't say I've heard a lot about. I wouldn't say it's like super popular, but the people I have seen talk about it have absolutely raved about it, and that is Thrum, which I believe is like a blend of genres. It's like sci-fi, horror. I recently added this as well to my want to read list. So Thrum by Meg Smitherman. Love the cover, by the way. Okay, yeah, it's about a girl who wakes up in stasis in space, and she's like by herself. I think her whole crew like died or something. She's in deep space, unable to contact Earth. Oh, I just love those kinds of books lately. That's all I know about it. That's all I want to know about it. I kind of want to go in blind. For some reason, I believe this is a shorter book. It doesn't actually say on Goodreads if it's a short book. Like, it doesn't say the amount, like the number of pages or anything. This is definitely on my Kindle to read list. Laura rated it here, and she said it's a blend of horror, psychological thriller, and sci-fi, and a little romance. I'm intrigued. I have been loving genre blending books lately that have just like tons of different genres rolled into one. They just feel so unique. So I'm very excited to read this. Again, read more sci-fi, get out of my comfort zone. And in that same vein, book number 21 on my list is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Now, the movie is coming out later this year, I think in March. So I would really love to read this before then. And I feel like everyone, non-readers and readers alike, have heard of Project Hail Mary. It's very, very popular. I think it's one of like the most rated and highly rated books on Goodreads. Don't quote me on that. And this one, again, is a situation where I think you have this guy in space and I think he's alone. I don't know. Again, I know nothing. I want to go in blind. I basically just want to read this before the movie comes out so I can also enjoy the movie. And then book number 22 on my list is Wrath of the Dragons by Olivia Rose Darling, which is book 2 that comes after Fear the Flames. I enjoyed Fear the Flames, but I've heard that if you enjoyed it, the book 2 is even crazier, even better. Obviously, this is romantasy. There are dragons. What more do I need to say? And I've heard also that people describe the female main character as reminding them of Aelin from Throne of Glass, which I can see that. So I'm excited to read book 2 and see kind of where it goes and how I feel about it. And then book number 23 on my list is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. V.E. Schwab in 2025 was not a newfound author for me because I read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue like forever ago and loved it. But I will say I read a ton of V.E. Schwab's like backlist this year and loved every single book. Like the Darker Shades of Magic trilogy is now one of my new favorite fantasy series ever. So again, I need to go read the rest of her backlist. So I'm going to do that by starting with Vicious, which is book number 1 in her Villains series. Again, all I know about this is that there are people with superpowers. It's like some type of superhero fantasy world. And again, that's all I need to know. I'm extremely excited because that sounds really good. It sounds really unique from most of the fantasy that I read, and I want to keep reading different and refreshing concepts within the genres that I love. So that is one, again, that is very, very high on my list. Don't know why I never considered reading it before, but here we are. Book number 24 on my list is The Raven Scholar, which is another new ad. This is by Antonia Hodgson. Again, I feel like I really know nothing about this other than kind of what I've seen some of my favorite booktubers say lately. I believe it's more of a high fantasy, which again is a genre I want to get more into this year. And the unique thing about this one is that it's kind of like the narrator, I think, is like you're in the eyes of a bird. I don't know. I think that's what people are saying. I don't know. But this is the first in a series. It's called the Eternal Path Trilogy. I've heard amazing things, like I said. I think it is an academic setting. Love books with academic settings. And yeah, I don't really know anything else about it, and I want to keep it that way. It's definitely a chunky book at 656 pages. I mean, overwhelmingly on Goodreads, like 60% of people have rated it 5 stars. So high hopes for this one. Extremely excited. And I'm just loving all of my new ads. All of the new books that I've recently added to my Goodreads want to read list, like I'm just beyond excited to read. Like, book number 25 on my list is Zodiac Academy number 9. I have a kind of complicated relationship with Zodiac Academy in that I do really enjoy the series. However, the farther I've gotten into the series, I'm a little bit not over it. I just think it's too long. I think every book is a little bit repetitive and too drawn out towards the end, but I am still really excited for number 9 specifically because of a certain relationship between a certain couple character. Now, this is a series that as you get further in, there are so many points of view, like 6, 7, 8 points of view. It gets kind of crazy like that. And it's just kind of a guilty pleasure series, nothing too serious. You have some hilarious out-of-pocket characters and situations, and just, it's crazy, but in the best way, if that's what you're in the mood for. So that is why I have number 9 on this list, because I would like to finally be able to say that I have completed the entire Zodiac Academy series. Finally, last but not least, number 26 on my 26 books in 2026 list is Emily Wilde number 3. Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales, which that's the one book that I have here, because this beautiful edition just finally came out with the deckled edges. I've been collecting these, but this is one that was on my list for last year, and I didn't read it because I didn't want to buy it on my Kindle when I knew I was going to eventually be buying this edition here. And I'm glad I waited, because this is just absolutely stunning. So gorgeous. Like, the matching spines are going to look so good on my future bookshelves once I have bookshelves again. This one is cozy fantasy following Emily Wilde, who is a scholar studying fairies, and she meets Wendell, hilarious name by the way, Wendell Bamblebee, and he's like, they do not get along. She's like, no, absolutely not. I do not like you. Our personalities clash, that kind of a thing. He's just very silly and out there. And I don't want to give too much away because obviously this is book 3 in a series, but it just, the romance is so good, the setting is so good. Like, if you're in the mood for an academic cozy fantasy, this is so much fun. These are the type of fairies in here that are like dark fairies. Like, they are tricky, they are mean, they're the type that you drink their wine and you get lost in their world, that kind of fairies. So if you like that, I think you would really enjoy this series. My other favorite thing about this is that it's written very much not like a textbook. Like, it's not boring like that to me, but you're obviously in the point of view of Emily, who is very scholarly, kind of dry, and so she has a lot of footnotes throughout the book, and I just really enjoy that. I enjoy that aspect of it when I'm in the mood for it. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one, see what I think, and just be in this world again with these characters. That is my list of all 26 books that I really want to read in 2026. I would love to know what you guys are planning to read, or like what's on your 26 books in 2026 list. Do we have any of the same ones? If you've read any of these, please don't spoil anything, but I would love to know which ones you think are really worth it, which ones I should prioritize. Happy New Year. I hope you had an incredible Christmas. I hope you got incredible fun gifts for Christmas. I would love to know also what you got for Christmas. What did you get? Any books? Which ones? Did you get any bookish items? I love to know all that kind of stuff. I can't believe Christmas is over. I can't believe it's basically 2026. But yeah, thank you so much for following my bookish journey on YouTube throughout this year. I would love to see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you do like my videos. I hope to catch you in the new year. Bye!